After buying and selling over 600 lots, I've made my share of mistakes, but I've also seen much worse. People losing their life savings, getting dragged into lawsuits, stuck with land they couldn't build on. So in this video, I'll show you 10 tragic mistakes that ruin land buyers and how to make sure you are not one of them. Mistake number 1. You finally buy the land, you start clearing brush, maybe even pitch a tent to spend the night. Then, little things start happening. A truck slows down and just sits there, engine running. An angry handwritten note shows up. No name, just a warning. Next time you visit, your driveway is blocked. So what happened? You didn't just buy land, you bought into a neighborhood, and the guy next door, he doesn't want neighbors. He complains, harasses, finds reasons to drop by, and suddenly your peaceful hideaway feels like enemy territory. So how do you avoid it? Before you buy, go meet the neighbors, ask what they like and what they don't, and see how they react when you mention your plans. You're not just feeling them out, you're testing for red flags. Mistake number 2. You walk the land. There's a fence along one side, a clearing near the back. The seller points and says, "That tree line, that's your back boundary." Sounds good, so you buy it. A few weeks later, the survey crew shows up. They walk the land, mark corners, start driving stakes. You smile. Progress. But as more stakes go in, your excitement turns into a knot in your stomach. So what happened? That tree line, not your boundary. That fence sits on the neighbor's property, and the cabin you planned, too close to the edge, violates setback rules. Now you're not just redrawing plans, you're losing buildable square footage. You might have to move your driveway, redesign your septic field, or even pay an attorney to negotiate with a furious neighbor. So how do you avoid it? Always get a new survey before you close. Never trust fences, assumptions, or county maps. Even long-time owners are usually wrong about their own lines. Mistake number 3. You close on the land, the paperwork's done, the lot is yours. A few weeks later, you're walking the property when someone pulls up. They say they have rights to use the land. They even bring documents. You think this has to be a mistake. You already bought it. You signed everything. This is your land now. So what happened? Well, it was all in the title paperwork. You just didn't read it. There was a recorded easement giving someone else permanent access through your property. Not hidden, just sitting in the title paperwork, and you never looked at it. And now you can't block them, you can't undo it, you just have to live with it. So how do you avoid it? Don't just assume the title is clean. Read it. Ask the title company to walk you through every document. Look for anything that sounds like easement, right of way, restriction, or covenant. Mistake number 4. You buy the land. Looks like it hasn't been touched in years except for one thing. There's a small shed near the back. No big deal. A few months later, you come back to start work and the shed door is open. Someone's inside. They tell you they have been using that shed for years, storing tools, fixing it up, sometimes even staying there overnight. You explain that you own the property now. They look at you and say, "Okay, but I've been here longer." So what happened? You may be facing adverse possession. In some states, if someone uses part of a property openly and without permission for long enough, they can try to claim legal ownership of that land or structure. And if the previous owner never stopped them, a court might side with them. Now you're stuck in a legal fight over land you just paid for. So how do you avoid it? Before you buy, walk every inch of the property. If there's a shed, fencing, equipment, or signs of use, ask questions. Who put it there? Has anyone been using it? Did they have permission? And after you buy, post no trespassing signs and secure any structures. Mistake number 5. You drive by the property, everything checks out. You close. Then a few weeks later, you get a letter from the county. It says you owe $18,000 for something you did not do. So what happened? 5 years ago, there was a house on this lot. It burned down. The owner walked away. So the county stepped in, cleared the debris, bulldozed the structure, and placed a demolition lien on the land. The lien stayed with the property, not the previous owner, and now you are responsible. But here's the worst part. The title report didn't catch it. Why? Because many title searches don't include municipal liens unless you specifically request it. So how do you avoid it? Use Google Earth's historical imagery to scroll back 5, 10, even 15 years. Look for signs of old structures, especially ones that mysteriously disappeared. Then call the county and ask, was anything anything ever demolished here? Are there any open abatement liens or unpaid cleanup costs? And when you order title, ask for a municipal lien search. Mistake number 6. You find the perfect lot, and since there are homes nearby, you figure if they built here, you can too. So you buy the land. A few weeks later, you call the health department to start your septic permit. They take your parcel info, ask a few questions, then give you a number. You're looking at around $25,000. So what happened? Your land sits in a protected environmental zone, and in some areas like parts of Florida, standard septic systems aren't allowed anymore. To protect springs and groundwater, you're required to install a nitrogen reducing septic system. These systems cost $15,000 or more, need electricity, inspections, and long-term maintenance contracts. So how do you avoid it? Before you buy, call the county health department. Ask, are there septic restrictions in this area? Is this property in an environmentally sensitive zone? What kind of septic is required for new construction? Mistake number 7. The land is perfect. You picture it all. A small cabin, a solar setup, a private well. The neighbor drilled one as well. So you buy the land, get the permits, hire a driller. They bring out the rig, start punching through the dirt. 50 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet, but still nothing. So what happened? There is no water within drilling depth. The local water table is too deep. Or worse, there is no reliable aquifer at all on your lot. The neighbor hit water because they're in a different geologic pocket. Your land, dry as a bone. Now you're stuck. No access to city water, no ability to drill, no water, period. So how do you avoid it? Call local well drillers before you buy. Ask them, have they drilled nearby? How deep did they have to go? What were the results? Call the county or water district to ask about water table in your area. And if there's any uncertainty, hire a hydrogeologist to conduct a survey. It's not cheap, but it's a lot less expensive than drilling 300 feet into dry rock. Mistake number 8. The land looks clean. You walk it. Even talk to the county. It all checks out. You close on the property and start planning. Then the excavator shows up. Start digging for your foundation. But then there's a loud clang and everything stops. So what happened? Buried beneath the surface is an old fuel oil tank. Decades ago, a home or farm once stood here, and back then these tanks were common, but now they are a legal and environmental nightmare. If it leaked into the soil, you could be liable for thousands in cleanup costs, excavation, contaminated soil removal, and in many states, you, not the previous owner, are responsible. So how do you avoid it? Ask the county or neighbors about the property's past use. If there was ever a home or outbuilding, hire a soils engineer or environmental consultant to test the site. Mistake number 9. You find a wooded lot with gentle slopes. You walk the land. Everything seems fine, so you buy it. A few months later, you come back to start clearing, and one corner doesn't feel right. The ground is soft, spongy. It sinks slightly when you step on it. You grab a shovel just to check. A few scoops in, and the earth slumps. The hole widens. Soil vanishes into the dark. What you thought was solid ground is slowly collapsing beneath you. So what happened? Your land sits on karst terrain, bedrock that's prone to forming sinkholes. And in some areas, especially places like Tennessee, Florida, and Kentucky, sinkholes are everywhere. They form when underground limestone dissolves, creating hidden voids beneath the surface. You won't always see them, but they can wreck foundations, damage septic systems, or make the land completely unbuildable. And here's the worst part. Many aren't marked. So how do you avoid it? Before you buy, check for sinkhole risk. Search for county's GIS website for sinkhole or karst overlays. Walk the property and look for signs, depressions, tilted trees or leaning posts, areas that sound hollow or feel soft underfoot. And when in doubt, hire a geotechnical engineer to evaluate the soil. Mistake number 10. You find a lot in town, paved roads, and the listing says public sewer available. Perfect. So you buy the land. A few weeks later, you call the county to start the connection. They pull up your parcel and say, you're about 1,000 feet from the nearest tie-in. Then they give you the estimate. Expect around $20,000. So what happened? Yes, sewer is technically available, but that doesn't mean it's close or cheap. Even if the main line touches your property, you may still be required to run hundreds of feet of pipe, install access points for maintenance, pay for permits, inspections, and trenching, work around slope, depth, or roadway challenges. And in some some cases, you might not even be allowed to install septic instead. So how do you avoid it? Call the local utility or sewer department before you buy. Ask, where is the nearest connection point? Can I legally tie in from this parcel? What's the estimated cost to connect? Are there slope or depth issues I should know about? But here's the thing, even the best due diligence won't help if you're buying land that comes with hidden price tags. So watch this video next and avoid the surprise costs that can turn your dream lot into a financial nightmare.